Hey everybody, it's me, Elizabeth. Guys, my name is Elizabeth Malinowski. I am a Vice President Sales Leader with Norwex, and I'm welcoming you to my kitchen, and I'm gonna share my sort of weird hobby with you guys today. So, guys, my hobby is foraging. I love to forage because I love to be outdoors. I love to walk. I love things that are free. I love it when things are free. So foraging is a free hobby that actually saves my family money. So it's a win all around, right? Okay, so guys, if you're like, what lady, who forages? Why would I make this my hobby? Why forage? Foraging is amazing exercise. It is awesome sauce for you. You're walking, it's not high intensity, but you know what you get a lot of is squatting. A lot of squats. A lot of squats when you're foraging. So it's gentle exercise. It's so therapeutic. And that's reason number 2 why I want you guys to try foraging, is because foraging is actually amazing for your brain. Okay guys, here's something that you might not think about a lot. People did not originally come onto this earth with like cell phones and couches to sit around on. People are supposed to use all of their senses. And when you're foraging, you're really tuning in to all of your senses. You're really having to like pay attention to what's around you, really honing in on nature. That is a great way to actually reset your brain. This is true. This is scientifically proven. Foraging can help reset your brain. It reduces anxiety, it reduces stress, and even symptoms of ADD and ADHD. So be outside and forage, because why not, right? I can't think of any reason why you wouldn't. Okay, some ethics, just really quick. Obviously, you don't want to forage out of your neighbor's front yard. I am going to teach you about some edible flowers today. You don't want to go steal your neighbor's flowers because that's not nice. Okay, when you're foraging in any public space, be delicate. You always want to leave 90% of the plant behind, and you want to take scissors with you to be nice to the plant. You want to make clean cuts. Don't just be ripping plants apart. That's not cool, okay? And leave the space better than when you arrived. That is a mega point, okay? Leave the place better than it was when you got there. So first of all, it shouldn't be filled with edible flowers when you arrive and then have none when you leave. That's not cool. But also, if you're foraging, take a bag for trash with you, okay? Pick up and leave the space more beautiful than it was when you got there. That's a general foraging ethic code, okay? Last thing I want to say is protect yourself, okay? Sneakers, long pants are a good idea. You'll notice in the foraging video that I'm going to share with you, I am not wearing long pants. I'm a bit of a rebel, but I absolutely am wearing sneakers. You'll be more brave when you're in pants and sneakers. You'll feel a little safer, and you'll feel like you can go into some of those briar patches and things like that to reach the, you know, the best berry or the best flower or whatever. So protect yourself. Sunscreen's a good idea. Take water, these kinds of things. And honestly, one really good tip, where'd it go? Just had it here. For protecting yourself, take just a damp EnviroCloth with you, or a bottle of water and a dry one, even just a mini EnviroCloth, in case you get into a patch of something like poison ivy. Guys, poison ivy, leaves of 3, let it be. You should probably know what poison ivy looks like before you head out and do your foraging, okay? But if you get into some, all you need is your EnviroCloth and water to get the oils. The oils from poison ivy are what irritate skin, so this is a quick fix to have with you just in case, so it doesn't spread, doesn't itch, none of that will ever really happen, okay? I have a couple books that I'm gonna reference, or that I'm gonna recommend, I guess. These are my 2 favorite foraging books. This is largely how I learned a lot of what I'm gonna share, okay? Backyard Foraging, I love this book, and The Idiot's Guide to Foraging. And I'm gonna share with you the video I recorded earlier today while I was out foraging, but one thing I couldn't find and I just wanted to share is called garlic mustard. Garlic mustard is this crazy invasive weed. It's delicious though. You can make pesto, you can put it in soups. It tastes like a spicy sort of garlicky mustard. It is so good. And listen to this, you guys. This plant is insanely nutritious. Higher in fiber, beta carotene, vitamin C, vitamin E, and zinc than spinach or kale. It's also high in calcium, iron, and omega-3 fatty acids. And this is going to be true for so many things that we forage, because these are not commercially grown. These are plants that have truly like gotten the nutrients from the earth, versus farm-raised plants where we kind of dilute the nutrients out of the soil. So You guys ready? I'm gonna share my screen with you and show you my foraging adventure from earlier today, and then we'll come back here and put it all together.
Welcome to Elizabeth's Foraging 101 class. We are gonna start here in my garden, okay? So in your own garden, you're gonna find a lot of edible. I'm gonna show you a few basic, delicious edible things, okay? Right here, this little clover looking guy, that's called wood sorrel, and it has the most absolutely delicious lemony flavor. It's one of my favorite things to forage. And below it, or next to it, we have this guy, which everybody in the world recognizes as a dandelion. Did you guys know? Dent de lion, it's a tooth of a lion. It's a toothed leaf, and we all know it as dandelion. Dandelion leaves, roots, and flowers are edible, all right? Our little wood sorrel, you can just pick the little clovers. They are edible and delicious. And this is my garden mint, but I'm gonna show you guys how to find wild mint as well today. Mint is easy to tell because it has leaves that grow opposite each other, going this way, and then they go this way, and then they go this way, and then they go this way. As you look down the stem, they are opposite each other, and then they rotate by 90 degrees. And if they go to flower, they have purple, I don't know if you guys can see that, they'll have purple little flowers. You guys can see my daylilies just finished blooming, and they are gone for the year. But daylilies have tons of edible parts. You can eat the flower petals, you can eat the flower pods, and you can even eat the roots of your common daylilies. And this is true for a lot of flowers. Things like, you know, like the traditional daisy that we see as well. That is something else out of the garden that you can eat for sure. Like I said, there's going to be so much more edible here than you think. This here too, along the wall of my garden, is something everybody knows and loves. This is just a common little violet. Violets have heart-shaped leaves and are pretty easy to identify. They've got a little, you know, kind of toothed edge around the edge of the leaf. The greens and flowers are both edible. These are delicious. I am definitely going to be cutting some of these for today's sale. And here we are still in my yard at my Japanese maple tree. So all maple trees have edible leaves. The younger the leaves are, the more delicious they're going to be. Maple or Japanese maples are going to be your most beautiful. These are great to pick a couple to throw in your salad. So yeah, Maisie, you're going to pick a couple for us? Okay, cool. Okay. Guys, when you pick from a tree, just make sure not to pick all in one spot, you know, to be gentle, to not hurt. Obviously, you don't want to hurt the plant. You guys, Japanese maple leaves are super, super nutritious. Everything we're going to forage today is going to be super nutritious, but these are great. They're hearty enough too to dip in a little batter and fry them up. If you want to make the most beautiful little like cinnamony fall treat, just amazing. Brambles are also delicious. These ones grow on the side of our deck. In Virginia, we have these red ones. So mostly we see brambles as blackberry type things. We have red ones called wineberries in Virginia that are so delicious. They're a little bit, we're past their season now, so anything we get now is going to be sort of a bonus. But oh, that one is perfect. Look how beautiful these berries are, and they are the most delicious berry. I also see, I just caught a little wild strawberry under there. You guys see this guy? I'm gonna have Maisie grab that for you. Maisie, will you pick that little wild strawberry? Wild strawberries, I'm not going to tell you they're delicious, but they are nutritious and they're pretty and they're a beautiful addition to our salad. And you can already see, just from a couple things we grabbed from the yard, what a beautiful little salad concoction we're coming up with. So now we're going to head and take a little lap around my neighborhood and see what else we can find out there. So first we're just going to pop across the street here because I see something. We found some really beautiful chicory here. Chicory, the flowers are edible, the roots are edible, and the leaves are also edible. And you'll notice this little plant here, somebody has eaten all of its leaves. And then I'll show you guys another thing that is pretty and edible and very prolific is clover and clover flowers. These make a beautiful little addition to salads, and we will grab a couple. Okay, so Maisie just had an amazing roadside find. She found a great little patch of brambles here. So you guys can see the red ones that aren't quite ripe back in there. There's also a black one over there. I'm gonna send her in to pick that. Beautiful. Can you show us? So awesome, what a find. All right, well, she finishes up with the blackberries. I'm gonna just show you some more things that caught my eye as I was coming through here. Let's see. I'm gonna step over here, show you guys this great little plant. Meaty leaves, really hardy. These will stand up in soups. This is called plantain, not like the banana, okay? These leaves, like I said, they're really hardy. They're perfectly fine in salads. They're not extremely tasty, but they're great in soups. And then the little flower stalks from them, here, let me show you. Oh, I should have used scissors for that one. These are great in a stir fry. They hold up really, really nice and are very tasty, very nutritious. But what's great about plantain is you can chew it up or grind it up a little bit and put it on a bug bite or a bee sting, and it will take the pain out of it. And I promise you can find plantain anywhere, no matter where you live. So if you're out in the wild and you get a little bit of a bite or a sting, then that's a great solution. Okay, here's kind of Jackpot Alley on the little trail that goes around my neighborhood. Guys, this guy right here, oh, what a score. This is sumac, okay? And I know right now you guys are all going, sumac, isn't sumac poison? No, white sumac is poisonous. It's very easy to tell from red sumac because red sumac is red. This is maybe the most delicious thing on this whole journey. Sumac is very easy to identify. It grows in bobs. See how the sort of flowering or fruiting portion is kind of in a bob shape? Very, very easy to identify. It gets hairier and hairier and rustier looking as the season goes on, and as it does get more and more ripe, they are going to get really sour and they taste just like a raspberry lemonade almost. And what you do is you pick the bobs and then you put them in a little pitcher of water and you rub the bobs together, like two together, really, you know, kind of vigorously, and let it soak a little while, and that rubs all of the flavor off. You don't actually eat the little seed parts, and it makes the most delicious jar of lemonade you have just ever had, right? Do you love it? Okay, we're gonna keep walking here. So now that our eyes are open, look, we found some more chicory. Beautiful. Beautiful. Do you want to pick another flower? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna pick another chicory flower to add to our salad mix. And then we're gonna find something that is so prolific. This is called autumn olive or silver leaf. It's so easy to identify because the underside of the leaves are silver, and it grows what are called autumn olives or silver berries. So guys, these ones are not ripe yet. They are something that are gonna ripen up in the autumn. However, Maisie and I did find a little jackpot spot of a bush that is totally covered in beautiful, ripe autumn olives, right? Like I said, they're called autumn olives or silverberry, and the berries do have, Maisie, will you show us? Can I show in your hand? They do have these kind of silvery, hold still, sort of silvery dots on them. They are sour, but again, they fruit like every bush in my neighborhood will be covered, heavy weighted down with these berries. Animals do not eat them because they're invasive and they are not something that's originally from this continent. So what we do with these in the fall is we pick them, we pick buckets full essentially. We grind them down in the blender. I strain the seeds out with a sieve, and then we bake it in the oven and make amazing fruit leathers. Add a little tiny bit of sweetener, and these are so delicious. It is free, it is fun, it's a great snack, and you're not taking food away from anybody else because the indigenous animals don't even eat them. How great is that? Okay, right here we just found another great edible find. You guys all recognize this as Queen Anne's lace, and we are going to show you later on in our little walk here a non-edible sort of look-alike and how to tell them apart. Okay, so there's the beautiful Queen Anne's lace. Queen Anne's lace is the flowers are edible, the roots are edible. They're actually called wild carrots technically. You can dig up the roots. They are like white colored carrots. And then we also found, look at, if I zoom in over here, Maisie's gonna come and grab some for me. This is some lamb's ear. You guys have seen this. It's a beautiful little fuzzy plant. Maisie just trimmed maybe 1 or 2 leaves from that little plant. Remember that we don't want to really impact the area too much. So this beautiful, soft, they're so soft. It's like a stuffed animal, it's so soft. And they are meaty and hearty. You can cook them in soups, and we can throw it in our salad as well. And while we're here by the pond's edge, I do think it's worth mentioning, you guys, my kids and I have foraged wild mussels out of this pond and cooked them up in like a little, you know, soup or whatever. Hey there. Okay, so look, we just found a little milkweed plant. Somebody has eaten a lot of this one. Milkweed has these big oval leaves. It's pretty easy to identify. In the next couple weeks here, it's gonna flower when it kind of goes to seed. And before the flowers bloom, like they're gonna open up, they're these big circles. before the flowers bloom, you can cut them and you can cook them and eat them. You can also eat the seed pods later in the year. And those are going to be great too. You want to always cook when you eat milkweed, flowers and seed pods only, and you always cook it first, okay? And milkweed is one of these fun ones to do with kids because sometimes you get lucky, you can find a monarch chrysalis on the leaves. So this is kind of one of the fun things we get to figure out when we stop and notice what's around us. And I'm going to backtrack a second. I did see over here, well, we've got a black walnut tree here. Can you guys see up through there? There's those black walnuts up here. Okay, and guys, black walnuts are tricky to harvest. If it's worth it to you to put in that kind of energy, black walnuts are delicious and very nutritious. And as I come over here, I did notice we've got a beautiful grapevine going on here. Guys, look at these. These are gonna be, I think they're called Mustang grapes. Let's see if you guys can see what I see. Look at all these grapes. They're gonna turn purple. There we go. Some little grapes. And again, they're gonna turn purple. You can eat them. They are very tart. We actually collected a bunch of them one year and made homemade wine. It doesn't taste like wine. It's very sour. Again, it's gonna have more of a raspberry lemonade thing going on instead, but they're very prolific. You guys see if I lift away the leaves here, there's just tons and tons of them to be harvested this fall. So those are something we get excited about. Had a good little find here, you guys, as I am walking along. You can see something I want to show you guys. This is a vine that is so delicious. This is honeysuckle, very common, grows in every place. Guys, honeysuckle is one of my absolute favorites. It's so sweet and delicious to eat the little flowers. You can even pick the flowers and turn them into a simple syrup with some sugar and water and put it in a little sparkling water after you make them into a simple syrup, and I swear it's the most delicious thing you will ever eat or drink, I guess, in your entire life. Absolutely one of my favorites here. Just a vine, easy to spot, and actually I can smell them from here. So if you catch a sweet smell in the breeze, that's usually honeysuckle saying, hey, come find me. Remember how earlier I showed you my mint plant and said I would show you how to find some wild mint? Okay, remember, distinctly, mint has leaves. Let me just pick a little stalk so you can see. Mint has leaves that first go one way opposite each other, then the other. One way, then the other. And you can see as we go down the stem, they go one way, then the other. They rotate around 90 degrees clockwise, and they often have a purple flower. This, I believe, there's a million kinds of mint. I believe this is called horse mint. It is not absolutely as delicious as my mint at home, which would be great for like teas and things, but this mint is going to make a nice little leaf and flower addition to our salad and going to make it really pretty. Found some mallow here. Mallow has these pretty little leaves. There you go, hold still, baby. They kind of go loop-de-loop around the edge. They're heart-shaped. It tastes to me a lot like tarragon. It almost has like a very herby, very minty taste. We'll throw some in our salad today, and we'll also, you can pick some to dry. Once you dry it out, you can grind it up into like a spice to be used in all kinds of dishes. It's very delicious, very tasty. And once you find it, first of all, it's like gonna be really prolific. Once you see it, you can't stop seeing it. It's just one of those things. Okay, Manzi says she found some more wineberries. I'm gonna show you guys more closely what these look like. Like I said, these are similar to like a wild bramble, but they are ripe when they're red, unlike the blackberries we saw earlier, and they are so delicious. Go to one of my absolute top 2 forageable items that is in your neighborhood. This is a persimmon tree, and here's a little unripe persimmon. These are going to turn orange in the fall. They're ready to pick when they are like falling off. Like they have to like, you know, like they have to be practically falling into your hand. You don't want to have to pull it off because it's not going to be ready. They're really easy to pick out because the bark of the tree has this double crackle. Some bark goes one way, like horizontal, it cracks, and some bark cracks vertically, but persimmon trees have a double sort of crackle bark that goes in both directions. And you guys, this is going to be the treat of the season. And here, guys, we are coming up on perhaps my #1 most favorite thing to forage, and these are mulberries. Right now we are under a beautiful mulberry tree. We are at the absolute last breath of berry season here. Oh, but look at that beauty right there. Here, I don't have enough hands to pick it. Maisie, can you reach that for me? When they're black, they're ready. Do you see it, baby? Right here. Oh, you're holding the brush. Got it. When they're black, they're ready. They will stain your skin, but they are so delicious. Okay guys, so for the first time ever today, Maisie and I just found a choke cherry bush. There's tons of fruit on here. I may come back with a bigger bin and harvest it maybe in a week or so. They're ready when they're black. Choke cherries do have poisonous seeds, but you can make preserves from the fruit and you can drink the juice of them. They're tart, but kind of in a delicious way, and I sort of like it. So, new lesson for today, choke cherries, check. So the pit comes out really easily. It's very easy to not eat the pit. It's not like you could accidentally, when I said the seed is poisonous, I guess what I should have said is the pit, because it really is, it's called the seed, but it's just like you wouldn't swallow a cherry pit, you wouldn't swallow this pit, and they actually do. I just ate one. They actually do taste just like a cherry, just a little on the sour side. We found some elderberries. These ones have been pretty picked clean by the birds probably. When they're flowers are these big, beautiful flowers, similar to the look of a Queen Anne's lace, but bigger and more beautiful. You can fry up the flowers as fritters, or you can make them into the most delicious champagne. Whoops, I pulled them off there, but the berries themselves are one of the most incredibly nutrient dense. Anything that has that nice black, dark, rich color, like with the choke cherries, so they're going to be full of antioxidants, and just something that's so good for you. So elderberries are pretty easy to identify. They have this pinkish sort of splayed, kind of design here, and they grow on roadsides, and they grow in the woods, and they grow everywhere. Show me. Okay, and Maisie, while I'm showing you guys what's up there, is foraging around on the ground and finding some more little wild strawberries. I love it. Guys, here's another good find and just a tidbit. This is a sycamore tree. They're pretty easy to identify because the bark peels away. Sometimes they get that really pretty green-white trunk thing going on. As you go up and up, you see it more and more, and often at the tops they look totally white. Sycamore is a good tree to know just because it's a tappable tree in case you ever need a clean water source. Out in the wild, you can tap a sycamore tree. And same thing with maples. Of course, you can tap a maple to make maple syrup, but the maple we saw earlier, that is tappable as just a really delicious, refreshing beverage as well. You don't have to wait to boil it down to syrup. Okay, you guys, I think this will be our last stop today. Maisie found something delicious. She is gently gonna bend the tree towards me here. This is a sassafras tree. So guys, sassafras is pretty easy to tell because its leaves have all different shapes. See, this one has 3 pieces and this one has 1 lobes. They're called lobes. This one has 3 lobes. This one has 1 lobe. This one has 2. Has all these funny different shaped leaves. That's pretty irregular for a tree. You can also tell it's sassafras by the green trunk at the top. You guys, these leaves are edible. They are delicious. They almost have a root beer flavor. The roots of the tree were originally used to make like a root beer like drink, and so you still certainly can do that with a tree this small, like the one Maisie has. You could even pull it up. If there were others, like if it was in a thicket of them, you could pull it up. You could use the roots to make delicious drink. You can use the bark, but you want to be gentle with that. You can also use the twigs. If you pull a few twigs from it, you can boil the twigs down, and they are going to have also like a really delicious flavor. One of the most dense sources of vitamin C. You can use pine needles to make tea. You don't want to heat it up, like you want to boil water and then let it cool a little bit down to about 180 degrees so you don't damage the vitamins. And steep your pine needle tea is actually quite delicious and very nutritious. One last thing, because I did say I was going to come back to this. Sometimes when you think you're finding Queen Anne's lace, you can be finding poison hemlock. So just a quick way to tell is Queen Anne's lace is very symmetrical and circular. But as you can see, it grows in a circle, whereas this does not. Also, its leaves are quite different. These are little sort of funny, spiky leaves, and it's pretty easy. If you kind of are familiar with a Queen Anne's lace, it's pretty simple to tell them apart. Just don't go too fast. Notice what's around you. And one other little edible I saw while we're standing right here is there's a little bit of goldenrod there. Guys, goldenrod is also edible. You can use it in teas. We have used it before to make like a yellow rice. It's great that way as well. And I think that brings our foraging to a close.
Okay, So tell me, wasn't that amazing? First of all, there's just so many things in your own yard that are forageable. Did you guys know, a little history lesson here, that is because when settlers came over, they deliberately sowed the grass with things like clover and wood sorrel and plantain and dandelions, because they knew these things were edible. They brought those seeds with them to sow in the grass because they weren't sure when they arrived on a new continent what there was going to be to eat. So these what we would call weeds are actually in our lawn as a protection in case there's a time of hunger. So anyways, I hope that you guys found some things in there that you're gonna try. And if it was like a little bit much, you're like, holy cow, Elizabeth, that was a lot of information. A, go back and watch it and write it down in your notebook, or purchase one of these books, okay? But B, just do some basics and then like add one new crazy thing, you know, each day as you kind of go out for your walk or walk the dog or whatever, okay? Couple quick things I want to share as I arrive from foraging to salad. Okay, first of all, you guys, I don't know if you noticed, I was foraging into my little Norwex gray container here. These are our silicone containers. Look at all four of these stores, super tiny. They pull out, they pop out, and they give you all this space. Oh my gosh. So like, we're hiking people, we're outdoorsy people, so we can take our lunches and our snacks in them, and then when we come home with it in our backpack, they come home super tiny. So I took my gray one out, and I foraged into this, okay? And then when I got home and took a shower, I was all sweaty and nasty, you guys, I took my little counter cloth and I placed it in here with the greens to keep them fresh. Do you guys want a huge life hack? Take your little counter cloths. If you are a jar salad person and you want to make jar salads for the whole week, but you don't want them to go all funky, you know, take your little counter cloth, wad it up, and stick it in the top before you put the top on. These keep greens fresh forever. But not just that, you guys, you know, right, that we now have the drawer liners in the counter cloth material because consultants were finding that these were extending their life of their like lettuce greens and things like that by weeks and weeks. So Norwex put out the liners for us. I will tell you personally, I can find that if I put things in the drawer without a liner versus with it, I can extend the life of my produce by about 3 weeks when I have these drawer liners in. They are so worth the investment. They're amazing. And of course they have backlock. So sometimes you get like a funky mess in the vegetable drawer. It is gonna be self-cleaning, not growing nastiness. You just take it out, rinse it out, throw it in the wash, put it back. Love it, okay? Those were some little Norwex basics I had with me. So then my process looked like this. I came home and I washed with my fruit and veggie wash. So you guys, the Norwex fruit and veggie wash, it is 1/2 of an ounce to make a 16-ounce full bottle. This bottle is gonna make 24 full-size bottles of fruit and veggie wash. What? That is crazy. That means it costs like $1 for a bottle of it. This is a biodegradable, paraben-free, you know, really high quality food wash. You don't want to wash your food with something that has chemicals in it. Like that would be crazy, right? So anyway, came home, I did a little wash in my strainer. I transferred from strainer to my kitchen towel. You guys know how great our kitchen towels are and how absorbent. And then I went to the bowl here. You guys want to see? Let me see if I can turn. Look at it. We've got our flowers. We've got our berries. Look at this, you guys. Just beautiful. Guys, totally delicious, totally nutritious, totally free. So here's my secret question. What thing are you most excited to run out and forage for and find in your yard? I can't wait to hear. Okay, guys, thanks for joining us in staycation. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.